We're the last people on the planet who remember a world before smartphones. I'm talking about 2007, only 19 years ago. The iPhone came out in 2007, the iPad in 2010, and literally within 5 years, the entire world changed completely. But our childhood happened before all of that. We grew up in a totally different reality. Here's what makes us unique. Our parents couldn't control us 24/7. Think about that. Kids today have absolutely no idea what that's like. You'd tell your mom, I'm going out, and just leave for the entire day. No tracking apps, no calls every half hour, no send me your location. You were just out there somewhere and your parents trusted you'd be back for dinner. That was real freedom. Remember how we made plans? You couldn't text, sorry, running 20 minutes late. You couldn't cancel plans 5 minutes before by sending a message. You'd say, meet me at 3 o'clock at the mall. And that was it, period. You had to show up, because if you didn't, there was no way to warn your friend. They'd just stand there waiting. And then they'd be pissed at you for a week. It forced people to keep their word. Now anyone can text, sorry, something came up, maybe another time, and it's become completely normal. Back then, if you bailed on plans, you actually screwed someone over. And remember boredom, real physical boredom, when you just sit there and literally not know what to do. Just sit. And that was part of life. You could spend an entire hour staring out the bus window thinking about random stuff or flipping through a magazine you'd already read 3 times. Now people panic if they have nothing to occupy themselves for 5 seconds. Standing in line, phone, riding the elevator, phone, going to the bathroom, phone. We literally can't be alone with our thoughts for more than a minute. And here's what's interesting. People used to read books, magazines, whatever. One guy wrote that he used to read 2 books a week. And after getting a smartphone, his record became 2 books a year. And it's not about lack of time, right? It's that our brains can't concentrate on anything longer than 30 seconds anymore. We've trained ourselves on endless scrolling. The idea of just sitting down and reading a book for 2 hours straight now seems impossible. Too slow, too boring, not enough stimulation. Another thing we lost, face-to-face interaction. Back then, if you wanted to flirt with someone, you had to walk up and talk. Face-to-face, no DMs, no likes, no hints through stories. You either worked up the courage and talked or you stayed alone. Yeah, it was scary, but it was real. And if things went well, it led to immediate physical contact. Holding hands, kissing, all of it actually happening. Now people can text for months and never actually meet in person. What the hell? And landlines, you'd call your friend and their mom would pick up. Hello, can I speak to John? And she'd yell across the entire house, John, phone's for you. It was a whole adventure. You had to be polite, introduce yourself, sometimes even make small talk with someone else's parents. Now every person is their own number, their own line. We lost that element of randomness, that awkwardness that actually taught us social skills. My classmate and his 3 brothers were bored, living on a farm, so they just grabbed shovels and started digging a hole all day, just dug a giant hole in the yard until it got dark. Why? Just because there was nothing else to do. Kids today wouldn't understand that. They have iPads with 1 million games. Why dig a hole? We invented games with sticks, built forts, made up stories, because the alternative was just sitting there staring at the wall. Boredom forced us to do something, create something. Kids today don't get bored. TikTok, YouTube, games, endless streams of content, but they're losing the ability to create their own entertainment. They need someone to constantly entertain them. And I'm not saying smartphones are evil. They're incredibly useful. I waste 3 hours a day scrolling like an idiot myself. But sometimes I wish I could go back to the summer of '96, when people kept their word because there was no other choice, when boredom forced us to go outside, when friendship was real because you had to see each other face to face. We were the last ones who knew that world. The generation after us will never understand. They were born with iPads in their hands. They don't know what it's like to just exist without constant digital connection. We were freer. We were more patient. We were more real. Maybe sometimes it's worth turning off your phone just for an hour, just to remember what it was like. Drop a comment with your most vivid memory from before smartphones. See you in the next one.